It's gonna have that live caption forever engraved in it. Really? I don't know. I don't do contact with love it. Love it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for people. Yeah. That's like doing something that I have from love. And it's like universal. Like, I don't know how to break down. I'm practicing. It is so well done. If you're like, how long I got to I'm like, what? No, please. It's not even we already have automation. Like, we already know that.
Rounds. We would like you to put your phones away and give your undivided attention to our amazing speaker today. First, we would like to start with a prayer.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Holy Spirit, you are the light in our lives. Inform and guide our decisions. Through the working of the Holy Spirit, we are all called to be better imitations of Christ. As we say, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Saint Joseph, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Our guest speaker today is Cara. She's an accomplished author, entrepreneur, and speaker who has shared her moving presentation with more than 2,000 students in 5 countries.
Drawing from an immense personal tragedy in her own life, Cara's inspiring presentation focuses on overcoming life, the speed bumps, and roadblocks, avoiding negative breaks, and being unique. But most of all, you will remember her presentation for a little dance that might just save your life.
The Student Council had the honor to hear her before in the Student Leadership Conference. So this is why we're so happy to have her today with us. All the way from Portland, Oregon, please give a warm welcome to Cara.
All right, this is my last school assembly athlete of the week here in Ontario. I actually will drive back to Buffalo and then fly to Phoenix for more schools tomorrow. But I'm pretty sure we saved the best for last. I've been driving all around Ontario in the last couple of days. I live in Portland, Oregon, but I actually grew up in Vancouver, Canada, so I'm a purebred, very proud Canadian girl. It's nice to be back in the motherland. I've been to Tim Hortons twice a day for 3 days in a row. We don't have Timmy's where I live. I'm pretty sure I'm over Timbits at this point. However, by no means did I spend nearly a day on an airplane on the weekend, flying to Buffalo, driving across the border to come and tell the incredible students in this room how to live your lives. You already get enough nagging from your teachers and your parents. You don't need to hear it from me. I have no right in this world to tell you how to live your life. Your life, your choice. There, however, is a reason why your teachers and parents nag you. And I say this in the kindest of ways to the teachers in the room. They want you to get old like them. That's what they want. They want you to get the opportunity to graduate from high school and go on and do everything that you have planned. I too wish that for all of you. Unfortunately, you guys, there are people in my life that will never get any older because of choices that they made when they were your age. Now, first of all, I know how devastated you must all be there's an assembly today. I'm sure you'd all rather be in class right now. And I know realistically as well that there's some of you in this cafetorium, whatever we're calling this, that might not want to hear this message. I'm fine with that. Because what I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk about some of the choices I made growing up. I'm also going to embarrass myself tremendously because I tend to do that really well. Give you guys some choices and walk away. Hopes that at least one of you gets something of value from this presentation. I speak in 100 high schools a year. This is not what I thought I was going to do with my life when I graduated high school. This wasn't my big plan. My big plan was I was going to graduate high school, was going to go off to university, and I was going to become a marine biologist. I basically wanted to go out and save the beluga whales of the planet, because my favorite song when I was a little girl was a song called Baby Beluga by Raffi. I am not now, nor will I ever be a marine biologist. I'd rather spend my time in schools like yours. So for a final time in Ontario this week, I'm going to start this assembly the same way I always do, because I'm just honestly not a very creative person, and I can't think of any better to do. So I'm going to ask you this time to please quietly, keyword quiet, close your eyes. Y'all just looked at your friends going, did she really just ask us to close our eyes? Yes, she did. I saw you peeking at each other. With your eyes closed quietly, I'll wait. Gentlemen, I see eyeballs. Close your eyes. Dude, you're looking right at me. I can see you. Close your eyes. With your eyes closed quietly, I'd like for you to imagine the most important person in your life. I'm not asking you to think about someone you've never fought with or told you hate. I'm asking you quietly to think about the person that means most to you. Could be a best friend you've known since kindergarten. Could be a brother, sister, could be a parent, a partner. They mean so much to you. With your eyes closed, imagine what your life would be without them. You come home from school, your mom isn't there to make you dinner, maybe some big lecture about not taking the garbage out. The reason she's not there, she made a choice. That choice cost her life. You grew up without a mom. Imagine coming to school on Monday and your best friend doesn't sit beside you in class anymore. Or in the odd occasion, you may be able to copy off their test. The reason they're not there, they made a choice. And that choice too cost them their lives. While you think about the people that you care about most, just listen to this.
I love you so much. Marin, I'm right here. You're gonna be fine. The ambulance is here. Don't worry. We'll get you out. I'll take you home. I'm not leaving you. Oh, Marin. Her name's Sarah. She's my sister. Oh, she wants to be to you. Tell her she's gonna be fine. How's she breathing? Is she okay?
For those of you who aren't peeking yet, you can open your eyes. There's a reason I had to close your eyes. I just wanted you to hear it. I wanted you to hear what was being said. It is a traffic safety commercial from BC, where I grew up. The very end of the commercial, on the screen, it says, in memory of Marin Johnston, another victim of excessive speed. Every word you just heard that actress say is word for word what I said. Marin was my sister. I watched my sister, my best friend, die in a car. But the commercial isn't going to tell you, Marin is my big sister, my older sister, so she thought it was her God-given right to boss me around. Put your hands up if you have an older sibling. Put your hands up if you are the older sibling that thinks it's your God-given right to boss the other ones around. Hands are always a little higher on that. Hands down. I followed my sister around like a puppy. I want to be just like her. I want to be as tall as Marin, as smart as Marin, as pretty as Marin, as outgoing as Marin. Marin was half an inch taller than me, and all of 39 seconds older. But it made her the older twin, therefore the one with all the power. You see me standing up here, you see her. We were totally identical twins. Except for a tiny birthmark on my cheek, that was the only difference between Marin and I. I loved being a twin. I'll always be one. But none of you, and no one I meet from now on, will ever have the chance to meet her. She died because she made a bad choice. Not like I haven't done that 1,000 times before. But I grew up believing it was never going to happen to me. Because it's always going to happen to somebody else. You know the saddest thing about that? I was right. It didn't happen to me. Instead, it happened to the most important person in my life, and I watched her die. Growing up a twin is a ton of fun. There is some great stuff about being twins, and some not so great stuff. Let me tell you about the great stuff first. Favorite day of the year, April Fool's Day. We could wear matching outfits to school, put band-aids on our cheeks to cover the birthmark, and switch classes. We were good at it. Fooled our teachers, fooled our friends, sometimes even fooled our parents. We also liked playing tricks on people on the phone, because we sounded alike, especially boys that would call the house in high school. If I was dating a guy in high school, didn't want to date him anymore, I'd get Marin to break up with him because it was easier. She would just get on the phone and go, "Don't like you, bye-bye," and hang up. Then I wasn't the evil twin. I didn't dump him. We also worked in the same stores together at the shopping mall, because I'm telling you, that'll creep customers out. One is to be at the front of the store, one's to be at the back of the store. They'd walk past Marin first and walk past me and say things like, "Man, you're fast." There's two things about being a twin that sucks. If there's any twins in the room, you'll appreciate this. First one, you are never ever called by the right name. Second, you get ripped off at Christmas and birthdays. Your aunts and grandparents think because you're twins, you like to share stuff. So they buy you one crappy gift and make you share it. Or they buy you the same gift, just a different color. Somehow that'll make you feel better. We were teased really badly in high school for being twins. We were different. I think today different is really special. I don't want to be like everybody else. In high school, especially your age, all we ever wanted was to fit in, was to be accepted, was to blend with our peers. I'm telling y'all, we didn't blend, no matter how hard we tried. Not only were we identical twins, we stood 6 feet, it's okay, just leave it, we'll be good. 6 feet tall, a month before we turned 11. That'll help you blend with your peers. Doesn't even help you blend with the teachers. We were actually taller than our kindergarten teacher. Can you imagine being a kindergarten teacher, teaching kids that are bigger than you? "Hey, little one, paint this." We were in grade 6. We were 11 years old. We were 6 feet tall. We didn't even weigh 100 pounds each. And basically, all we did was fall over because we were uncoordinated, big, tall stick girls. It was the 90s, late 90s, before all of you were born. And unfortunately for me, my parents thought they would help their little girls blend by perming our hair. Because everybody in the 90s had a perm. I had a perm and a mullet at the same time. How badly do you think we were teased? But you know what? No matter what people called me, at least I knew, there was someone who looked just like me going through the same thing. It made it okay. I was never alone. You guys, I can tell you the second my sister died. The second. Half of me went with her. In turn, I have the half of her that's really strong, and we'll stand here today and tell you all the things I'm going to tell you. Marin died the day after our 18th birthday, the summer of our grad from high school. And every year since then, I celebrate, first of all, our birthday without her. The next day is the day she died. We were at the mall having job interviews at the Disney store. We were both hired at Disney that day. Marin never worked for Disney. She didn't make it home. My sister died 3 blocks from the mall. So your new boyfriend decided to come and pick her up from the mall. New boyfriend, they've been dating a week. He was older than us, drove a beautiful black shiny sports car, suspension tight so he can turn corners faster, T-roof radar detector, and he liked to drive fast. Who cares? He speeds. My boyfriend in high school sped all the time. So did my friends, so did my family, so did I. It was no big deal to watch Marin get in that car with her boyfriend at 3:30 in the afternoon on a Monday. Because it's never gonna happen to us, right? We're supposed to be best friends forever. There's a set of twins in Vancouver that I think are probably the funniest set of twins on the planet. They are two little old lady identical twins, now in their 80s. They're this big. They walk around Vancouver wearing matching outfits and jackets, holding hands. Okay, they've obviously never been married, probably have more than 100 cats at home, but are best friends. Marin and I honestly believe we're gonna be just like that. Except of course a lot taller, that was the plan. I can tell you about all the things we'll never do together. It doesn't matter. There's nothing I can say to you, or any school or conference I've been at since Marin died that's gonna change that. Marin and her boyfriend sped by me a block from the mall, and I thought it was a joke. I called them a loser out the window and told them I would just meet them at home. I never met them at home. 3 blocks is all it took. Marin's boyfriend lost control of his car. He lost control of his car on a city street in Vancouver in a 50-kilometer-hour speed zone, traveling in excess of 160 kilometers an hour, more than 3 times the postal speed limit. At over 160, he locked up his brakes, slid nearly 100 meters down the hill he was driving, facing upwards, before he crossed the median and slammed into an oncoming car coming up the hill. The point of impact was Marin's door. The car bent at a 90-degree angle to Marin was sitting. What chance do you think my sister had? She wasn't wearing her seatbelt, there were airbags in the car. At the end of the day, there's only one thing that would save my sister's life. It's the same one thing that would save the lives of teens across this country every day of the year. It's called a different choice. I watched them rip the car apart to get my sister out. I was the car behind them. There's nothing they could do for her. Marin never made it out of the car. Police, firemen, paramedics' job next was to pick me up off the curb. I can't even imagine how creepy that was for them. Looking at the girl that just died in the car and looking at me. They stuck me in the back of an ambulance. They tied me down to a bed. At the time, I didn't understand. I didn't understand why I was being tied down. I wasn't in the car. They strapped me to that bed because they were about to tell me the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And it is something I hope with every ounce of my giant Mama Care Bear heart, the students all sitting here and the ones watching never hear. I'm sorry. I'm sorry Carrie's sister didn't make it. Like I'm sorry supposed to cut it? The reason I had you close your eyes and think of people you care about, I met incredibly nice students at your school. I hope to meet so many of you. I'm not gonna stand here this morning and expect you to care about us. God forbid though something happens to the person, the one that you thought of when you closed your eyes and you hear 1,000 times over how sorry people are. Does it make you feel better? It is never gonna bring it back. But unfortunately as a society, those are the only words we have left to say is how sorry we are. Sorry doesn't cut it. On August 29th, the summer we graduated high school, the day after our 18th birthday, my twin sister became a statistic. To the grade 12s in the room, do you know what the only thing Marin went on to accomplish with her life after she graduated from high school is? Speak a number on a piece of paper. That is the last accomplishment any of us want to see you have. Behind every one of those numbers is a story just like this one. A family just like mine. I didn't start speaking when people know my story, guys. I wish I didn't have a story. The reason I started speaking, and years later I'm still speaking, I am sick and tired of car crashes being the #1 killer of youth. It doesn't matter if you're not driving yet. Under the age of 25, nothing kills more of us than car crashes do. Out of every cause of death, combined times 4, doesn't even come close. But what fascinates me, we still call it a car accident. Hear it on the news, friends and family talk about it. Even law enforcement sometimes still use the word accident. If you Google the definition of that word on your phone today, it's going to say something unpreventable, like stubbing your toe on a coffee table, tripping up a flight of stairs, falling off a stage, which unfortunately I've done more than once in front of large groups of people. That's an accident. When a plane crashes and tragically people die, we don't call it a plane accident. We lose more people your age in one day in car crashes in this country than we do year-round worldwide in plane crashes. And we still use the word accident because it helps salt up the fact that it happens every day. So I have a question for you. I know it's Wednesday, it's early in the morning. I'm not gonna make this question complicated. I'm not your mom, although I'm old enough to be. I'm not an overly complicated person you guys haven't figured out yet. My question to you this morning is not complicated. Ready? If it happened to the person that you thought of when you closed your eyes, would you accept it? I don't. That's why I'm standing here. But by no means have I come all this way to tell you a story. My story's over. It's not like my story is anything special. The reason your student council worked so hard to make this assembly happen today, I want to talk about the choices you can make. I already know. I know you have enough people in your lives who knows what you should do, can't do, don't do. I'm not going to do that today. What I would like to do today is offer you a buffet of choices you didn't know you had. Now, I just used the word buffet in a sentence that has nothing to do with food. And there's a whole bunch of you that eat every 15 minutes that hear that as an opportunity for snacks. Does she have snacks? Is there food involved? A buffet of choices you didn't know you had. You already deal with the 2 most powerful drugs on the planet in your high school. You can't buy drugs stronger than these 2 things. What do we call them? We call them peer pressure and testosterone. Makes you guys do some weird things in high school. Marin's choice, I like all the little giggles right now. Marin's choice to sit there and not say anything is what cost her life. She doesn't live with that. I do. Guys, I'm going to share with you today 4 choices that could have saved her life. Had my sister chosen any of these 4 simple choices, she would not have died. I wouldn't be standing here. I'd be with her. My first presentation ever was nothing like what you're hearing right now. 2 months after Marin died, in a tidal wave of grief, I stood up in front of 100 people, about 100 people at my old high school. The presentation that day lasted 15 minutes. Honestly, all I did for 15 minutes was bawl my eyes out hysterically. Ladies, you know that hyperventilating, crying, that makes no sense to anyone? But they walked up to me at the end of that presentation and told me how well I had done. Whether you remember this message long-term or not is not a question right now. The fact that you're all sitting here, as quiet and respectful as you all are, allowing me to share that message, is the only reason I'm still alive. When Marin died, I saw no reason in being here without her. And as corny as this sounds, students just like you, just like you, were the reason I stayed. If one of you today, just one of you, get something of value from this presentation, do you know what that means? Marin didn't die for nothing. That's what that means to me. But at my age now, I'll let you guess how old that really is. I'm feeling too old to tell you the story. My story's over. It's not why I'm here. I want to share with you today 4 choices that could have changed the story. Before I share with you those 4 choices, I would like to, if you allow me, share with you just a tiny video of pictures of us growing up. There are some pictures I need to warn you about. There's a collection of really bad 90s pictures in here. Some bad outfits and worse hairdos. If you get this unbelievable urge to laugh at the pictures, go ahead. I'm not offended. I thought I was Madonna for 6 months of my life, so the pictures are horrendous, and it's okay if you laugh. There's also a picture of Marin's car crash in here. I want to talk briefly after the pictures about the other victims involved, because there were other victims involved. Ultimately, the only reason I'm at your school right now, share with you 4 choices, hop in my ridiculously little rental car in your parking lot, and drive away. I'll never know if you heard it. I'm never going to know if the smallest thing I say today makes a difference to any of you. Do you know statistics only show people that are injured or killed? They don't show any of us who make the right choice first, as a passenger, as a driver, at a party, next weekend, your crashes don't happen. You don't become a number on a piece of paper like Marin did. I'm sorry isn't going to change that. But the choices you make for yourselves and your friends can and will. Let's see if we can make it work.
Though I'm missing you, I'll find a way to get through. Living without you, you were my sister, my strength, and my pride. Only God made no right. Still, I will get by. You had to so suddenly, so fast. How could it be? Our sweet memories will be all that we have made. Now that you're gone, every day I go on, but life's just not the same. I'm so empty inside, and my tears I can't hide. But I'll try to face the pain. Though I'm missing you, I'll find a way to get through. Living without you, you were my sister, my strength, and my pride. Only God made no why. Still I will get back.
Guys, that's all that was left in his car. He hit a Chrysler Fifth Avenue, which is about twice the size of the car he was driving, and there were two elderly ladies in the other vehicle. They spent the next 5 months with the lives in the hospital. The driver of the bigger car now has 13 pins holding her left leg together. Her leg shattered on impact. Marin never made it out of the car, but her boyfriend did. I watched him crawl out the back hatch of his Nissan 300ZX that need help. He lost a tooth and broke his elbow. There is one word that describes why he walked away and Marin didn't. It's the same word used to describe why I'm standing here, having often made the same choice as Marin did. Luck. So many people bet their lives on luck, thinking bad stuff will never happen. I hope they're right. Marin was wrong. Marin's boyfriend was given a $150 speeding ticket at the scene of the crash. We're going more than 3 times the posted speed limit. A year and a half after Marin died, he was finally charged with something called dangerous driving causing death. He was sentenced to a year in jail and 5 years without his license. He spent 15 days in jail. My sister's life was worth 15 days and $150. Each and every one of your lives are worth more than that. Do you know there's only 2 things that stop car crashes from happening every day? 2 things, that's it. Each driver's common sense and a white or yellow line, depending on what country you come from, this big. That's what better lives are. When people decide, because it's a choice, right? To speed, drink and drive, smoke, whatever it is they've decided to smoke and drive anyway, text message while they're driving, we throw common sense out the window. The only thing we bet our lives on is a white or yellow line this big and these 4 choices. Option number 1, choice number 1, so easy. We forget we have it. It's about not putting ourselves at risk like that in the first place. Now, as a high school student, especially a grade 11 and 12 student, I know life without risk would be really boring. I'm not talking about hiding in your house under your blankets for the rest of your life. It's too risky to go outside. You need to take risks, that's how you learn. But there are risks in life you don't need to take, like getting into cars people drive like that. I know you need to get to a party, school, work, a sporting event. Be creative. There is always another way there, okay? This is a big school. You guys have a ton of choices to get around. Now, some of you may not have a driver's license yet or have access to a vehicle, so you feel like you don't have a lot of options. I've been to schools that don't have the choices you do. I spoke in a school in Canada. They're so tiny. Their entire school, kindergarten to grade 12, K to 12, 28 people. That included the 2 teachers. Do you know how big their grad class was that year? 1 guy. Can you imagine the rockin' grad party he had by himself? I think that's really funny and pathetic all at the same time. I think it's funnier, what if there's 2 people in grade 12? And you get all decked out to go to prom. You're at the dance. You're so excited. You go, hey, you want to dance? And they say no. What are you going to do for the next 5 hours? They don't have a lot of choices available to them. You have tons. Find another way there. Walk, ride your bike, skateboard, take a bus, call your parents, crawl there. I don't care. Just don't put yourself in a car with someone who drives like that. Option number 2. What if you already find yourself in a vehicle driven by someone who shouldn't be driving? Really simple. Get out of the car. Most important part of option number 2. Please remember to make the car stop first. That is an important road safety decision. Do not throw yourselves out of moving vehicles. Stop, drop, and roll is for fire safety only. In order to make the car stop, you gotta speak up for yourselves. No one on the planet is a mind reader. They don't know what you want unless you tell them. Speak up for yourself. At school, at home, with your friends. My sister didn't. That's why she's dead. Option number 2 is not only about speaking up for yourselves, it's also about sticking your neck out for your friends. Because some of your friends might not be as strong as you are. If you were ever at a party, not that that'll ever happen in high school, but if you're there, and someone's been drinking and they plan on driving somewhere, I don't care who they are, uncle, parent, friend, hide their car keys on them. My favorite place to hide car keys in the house, and I hope it becomes your favorite place as well, is the toilet. It's a great place to hide car keys. I am not talking about the toilet bowl people, that's disgusting. Little keys floating around. I'm talking about the tank on the wall. Lift the tank lid, put all the keys in the tank, put the tank lid back down. But a word of caution, those clickers, automatic door clickers, automatic start clickers, please remember, clickers are not waterproof. They don't float either. Stick them in Ziploc bags first before you throw the keys in the toilet, because if you don't, that'll be a nice expensive learning opportunity for you. Is I had to replace 5 of them in one night at a party. They're nearly $90 a piece. Ziploc bags are cheaper. Option number 3, my favorite option, and I guarantee to you, as pathetic as this is what you will all remember today's presentation for. Option number 3 is about lying to make sure you're safe. Any lie that you say that makes you safe is a good lie. So I don't like to use the word lie, because frankly, lying sounds so evil. We don't lie in high school. No. We are masters of the fib. We fib about why our homework's not done, why we're late for school, where we really are on the weekends. These, however, are my favorite 3 fibs. I guarantee the car will stop immediately and let you out. You must be able to see what I'm doing right now, because all 3 fibs include actions. They're called the 3 Ps for easy reference. P number 1, tell the driver you have to pee. Don't just tell them, dance for them. Dance the famous pee dance I'm sure you've used on occasion to get out of class we don't really have to pee. If you have no idea what the pee dance looks like, I am now going to dance for all of you, because I promised up front that I'd embarrass myself. Now that showing you awesome 90s photos wasn't embarrassing enough, I am now going to pee dance for all of you. Please enjoy. You hold your bladder, it's lower than your belly button. Sitting in the passenger seat or back seat of the car, obviously with your seatbelt on, put your knees together or cross them if you can, whatever's more comfortable for you. Then you start to wiggle, because the more wiggling you do, the more they believe you. Say in a really whiny, uncomfortable voice. Do you need that picture for the yearbook? Hold on, get your camera out. I have no shame in life, ready? It's such a good look for me. How's that? Is it good? All right. That's the picture they chose for the yearbook in Vermont. They're like, special guest speaker at the school. That's the picture they got. They're like, say in a really whiny, uncomfortable voice, but I have to pee so bad. Do you think anyone in their right mind wants you peeing on their passenger seat? They're going to stop the car, they're going to let you out. They get better. Number 2, tell the driver you think you're going to puke. But again, don't just tell them. Show them. This time, hold your stomach higher than your belly button. Sitting in the passenger seat with your seatbelt on, lean forward and proceed to drool out the side of your mouth. If you've ever had the flu before, you know that drooling stage comes just before the puking stage. They know that too. Let it hang down your chin, Make a little puddle for him if you need to. Say things like, I don't feel so well. I think I'm gonna puke. Don't laugh when you say that. Then you gag from, I don't care if it's a bus driver, parent, sibling, they also don't want you puking in the car. They'll stop the vehicle and let you out. Third and final P happens to be my favorite P. Because ladies, I'm telling you, one day, it'll be the best weapon you ever had. There is no man on earth. I don't care if it's your dad, boyfriend, friend boy, whatever it is you call them. Oh, I know you call them friend boys. Mom, he's not my boyfriend, he's my friend boy. Okay. Or my favorite of all the male teachers at school that want to hear all about your period. Girls, this is what you must say. Ladies, quote me. This is what you must say in order to make the car stop immediately and let you out. I love how quiet it is in here right now, but for two different reasons. The girls are dying to find out what I'm going to teach you. The guys all praying it never happens in their car. Way to keep eye contact, gentlemen. Well done. I was at a school in Ohio about 5 weeks ago. The entire auditorium sat about 800 students. The first 3 rows of that auditorium got taken over by the football team. All front 3 rows. We get to this part of the presentation, and every one of those football players starts staring at the floor, hoping the guest speaker disappears. I have a microphone in my hand, and they are 12 feet from me. I could not help myself. I walk right up to the front. They don't see me coming because they're not watching. And I squat down, and I just wait. I don't need all of them to look. I just need one of them to look. And a young man in the front row thinks it's over, lifts his face, and we make direct eye contact. He says, oh no. I said, good morning. Would you like to talk about periods today? He was very polite. He was probably Canadian. He said, no, thank you. And I was like, too bad. Ladies, you start the conversation by saying, uh-oh. That always makes men freak out. Conversation goes as follows, ladies. Uh-oh, I've started my period. I have no matter tampon. I'm sitting here bleeding on your seat. How fast do you think that car just stopped? Probably much faster than it should have stopped. And ladies, I'll bet you money if it was a boyfriend, friend, or brother, they drove away and left you there after they helped you exit the vehicle. Girls, the reason I hope you phrase the best weapon you'll ever have is 3 out of 4 car crashes in this country, in your age group, are not caused by you. Gentlemen, please don't take this wrong when I say this. I love men. I played in a guys' basketball team in high school. However, there's a huge complex statistic. There's a hormone racing around your body in high school especially, making you do some weird things. We call it testosterone. Makes you guys do things like running around, grunting, and mooning each other. You know who you are. You're all looking for the same guy right now. Started in elementary school, it hasn't gotten any better. I will never forget the football team at my high school with their little bums plastered to the bus window as it drove past for our viewing pleasure. Testosterone makes you guys do some crazy stuff. Gentlemen, it also makes you put yourself at risk without thinking of what the consequence could be. Marin's boyfriend did not leave the house that Monday morning saying today's a beautiful day, think today's a great day to kill my new girlfriend. But a choice he made he never thought of what the consequence could be. Option number 4, the last option I have for you today, is about picking up the phone and calling your parents when you need a ride. I know the older you get in high school, the less likely it is you want to involve your parents in any part of your life, no matter what fib you may have told them to get there in the first place. If you're stuck, call your folks. The last thing your parents want, knock at the door. Police officer at the door. I've had the privilege to work with law enforcement all over the world. People ask me all the time, why did I become a cop? One reason. I don't want to be the one that stands at your door in the middle of the night and tells your parents you're not coming. Somebody has to tell my parents. That's their job. Had my sister chosen any of these 4 simple choices, these ones, she wouldn't have died. I wouldn't be standing here. I'd be with her. We were supposed to start university on basketball scholarships 5 days after the crash. I didn't go without her. It was too hard for me. Let's be honest, at the time, getting out of bed was hard for me. After Marin's boyfriend was sentenced, I finally got up enough courage to go back to school. By then, I was already doing 100 little presentations a year on my own time. I was a hot mess. I cried through all of them. I took 3 classes my first semester. To say that I was overwhelmed is an understatement. I was a decent high school student. I was a terrible college student. I had a professor in my first semester that said something to me that changed my life forever. He knew what I was doing on my own time, trying to save the planet because I couldn't save my sister. And he handed me back a test on a Monday morning with an F on it. It was my first F ever. I hadn't studied, I'd barely been in class all semester. And he paused just for a second and said, Cara, stop fighting fights you can't win. I was so upset by his comment. I played sports at a national level. I like to win. What I realized, life isn't about the fights that you can win, although winning feels really good. It's more importantly in life, you find a fight worth fighting for. I don't know what that fight's gonna be for you guys in your lifetime, but I'm standing here today in my 5th presentation in 3 days because I found mine. All of your lives to me are a fight worth fighting for, because while I stood here, 90 people just died in cars. People that you either met and will never see again, will never have the opportunity to meet. How do you think that changes the world? We are never gonna know. They aren't here to change it. I'm a very proud Canadian girl. I've been in the States a while, but they will never take my Canadian passport away from me. Never gonna happen. I'm way too proud of a Canadian for that. That was the first time this morning I've heard the national anthem in a very long time. I got all teary. I could probably do it in French, because I learned that in school, but I don't know if it wouldn't sound great, but I would at least be able to do it. I moved to the States 18 years ago because I fell in love with an American boy. They grow really tall boys in the States, thank God. My husband's name's Jason. He's 6'5", played college basketball on a scholarship. I'm a lucky girl, he's a handsome guy. We have a son. He is our only. His name's Jackson. He's my world. He's the world's cutest grade 11 student. Now I know I'm probably slightly biased. Of course I think he's gorgeous. I'm his mom. He could look like a troll. I would not know the difference. He doesn't look like a troll. He's also on the larger side of a grade 11 student. And I say that and people laugh at me. Like what? I was expecting a small child? I am 6 feet tall. My husband is 6'5". As tall as we are, I was still not expecting gigantor for a son. In kindergarten, Jackson needed a bigger desk than all the other students because his baby giraffe legs wouldn't fit under normal desks. Jackson just turned 17. He wears a men's size 16 shoe. Do you know they make a croc in a 16? Do you know what a croc in a 16 looks like? A kayak is what it looks like. It's like a plastic canoe laying around the house. If there was a flood and the only thing floating past was Jackson's Crocs, I would just lay on it like Rose does in the Titanic movie and just float our past. Jackson's already 6'7" as a grade 11 student. He would like to be 7 feet tall because 1 out of 4 7-footers end up in the NBA. I don't know that he's gonna get there. He's praying every day. He eats like he's already 7 feet tall. He's 6'7", he plays basketball. He's been playing basketball since 2nd grade. We play AAU, we play Nike, EYBL. We're on the circuit 11 months of the year. He lives it, breathes it, eats it, sleeps it. He's in my PowerPoint. It is prom season. I literally get to see my kid basically a day and a half a week right now. So I have a little mom guilt I need to work through. If that's okay with you, I'd love to show you a picture of my kid. Please don't be that student that yells out, your kid does look like a troll. That happened at a school assembly. A grade 10 student, I think he was just trying to be funny. It didn't end well for him. He yelled that out in front of all of his peers, and I didn't know their principal could levitate. I watched their principal fly across the audience, grab that kid with her eagle talons. Out they went. Week of it, school suspension, and all I did as the professional speaker was I cried. It was the first time anybody had ever made fun of my kid. I didn't know how to handle it. It was a long time ago. I am now an AAU club basketball parent. We go to tournaments all over the country. AAU parents are nuts. They yell at the players, they yell at the coaches, they get into fights with refs, they yell at other parents. And I'm Canadian. I don't know how to fight because we just love everybody. All I do when parents are yelling is I'm so sorry you feel that way. So I go, like every good Canadian does. So here's a picture of Jackson. This is grade 10 basketball photo. Now you're like whispering to your friend, like, does he really look like a troll? He's not a troll. So that's Jax right there, that's grade 10. So there's a reason